Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my...
Nope.
No?
I don't know. I just felt like interrupting you.
I can't get through a solid one, yeah.
Chris was preoccupied.
I understand.
Sorry.
I understand. Hello.
You want me to interrupt you?
Yes!
All right.
I'm
Take
done.
3. Hello, everyone, and welcome to...
John,
Oh, God! That was not funny. God damn it.
Oh, yeah, golden!
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel. I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my friends prevent me from wondering why 2016 didn't take Nick Cage as well, and instead force us to watch movies. This week, we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally ho!
We have Chris Arsenault.
Because it's you. You're the Rocket Man.
And we have James Barrup.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat a-hole?
That's right. For those of you who were curious, this week we watched The Rock.
The Rock.
The movie that put Michael Bay on the map.
Can't stop the Rock. You can't stop.
I can smell what it's cooking, and I don't like it.
That's right. A chemical weapons expert and ex-con are on the
Cooking
case.
fucking VX.
Yep. They are on the case when an ex-Marine, wow, there's a lot of X's in here, seizes Alcatraz prison, taking hostages and threatening a nerve gas attack made of little green balls.
It's like scrolling through Colin's Facebook page, or Facebook timelines. A lot of X's in there.
Oh, rough. Starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris, and directed by Mr. Explosion himself, Michael Bay.
Hell yeah.
Now, as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked this movie gets to review first, and I believe that is somebody who wasn't me. So
That was me.
Yes, Eric.
Johnny. It's me. It's Eric. I'm the guy who picked The Rock, and I made a spectacular decision, I must say. Now, look, The Rock is a unabashed action thriller. Maybe not even thriller. It's just a fucking, like, balls to the wall action experience. It's something that my buddy from Flint, Carl Welsing, would be all about. It's got fucking dudes with guns. It's got Harry James Bond like swearing at people the whole time.
Got a car chase.
It's got car chases. It's got explosions. It's got fighter pilots. It's got Claire Forlani. It's got
stereotypical racism.
Yeah.
Stereotypical everything.
Like, yeah, it's got stereotypical writing. Like, it's got every single word that is spoken in this movie we all thought of before they said it. Like, there were no surprises in any word that anyone spoke at any point in this movie, but it was perfect.
Except for the line, "How in the name of Zeus's butthole?"
Wow.
Okay.
I think that was the only one.
That was a fucking deep pull.
Quotable.
Okay, so this movie, I've never seen Bad Boys. Obviously, this was my first Michael Bay movie I saw. I saw this shit probably back in like 99 or 2000. I saw it on tape when it came out on VHS at my friend's house in the basement when we were having a fucking sleepover and drinking a bunch of fucking Mountain Dew or Surge or some shit. And it was like...
Surge.
Yeah.
And we were just like sitting there with our raging Surge erections, and Michael Bay was ready to be like, all right, let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to blow your 12-year-old mind.
Okay, so this is I don't know if there was ever like actually a point in time where Nicolas Cage had like real credibility. Like he showed up on the scene in Moonstruck, and he's related to the Coppolas. Like he's a Coppola cousin.
Yeah.
Like his original last name is Nick Coppola.
Yeah.
So he's in the movie business because of fucking what's it called? Nepotism.
Yeah.
He's a nepotism movie actor, just like Sofia Coppola, but she's actually made some good stuff. Anyway.
Debatable.
What was the Bill Murray movie?
Lost
Yeah,
in Translation.
Yeah, Lost in Translation.
Yep.
All right.
Had a great opening.
I don't know. I saw some cracks in the plot.
Okay, so I don't know if there was ever like actually a time where Nicolas Cage had artistic credibility, but like we are way over that mountaintop now. But I think in the late 90s, people like still respected Nicolas Cage. Like people still thought that maybe he was a real actor. But in this movie, he was like, he took every line and just acted the shit out of it, and it was so perfect. I don't know. Okay, so I don't even know what the point was, but Nicolas Cage didn't swear until the very end of the movie, where he's like, "Do you even know what this shit does?" Or like something like that, when he's like holding the green balls in front of the guy.
And it's practically not even him swearing; it's literally him parroting it back. And
right.
The only time he really swears is honestly when he throws out the one-liner.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get it. I guess I'm sure I kind of get it. They just did it to make that character seem more innocent and like less like a army dude than the other guys. Although just Nicolas Cage's general physique and attitude could have done that on its own. He didn't need to be talking about Zeus's butthole or fucking a-holes.
Well, the idea that he is not trained for, field work, that he's not a soldier, that, whatever, that he's supposed to be a lab rat, essentially,
He's not built for war.
Right, but then he ruins the entire facade with one action, and it's when they're launching the first rocket, he jumps up, grabs the bar, and lifts himself up with one arm.
Okay.
And he ruins the entire facade that he's supposed to be just a geek.
Okay.
I can do
that with both arms.
I can do that. Easy. No
So
problem.
there are a lot of things that I identified with Nicolas Cage in this movie. He's cool under pressure, like when he's not going to stab himself in the heart with the needle diculator, because he knows that he can dismantle the bomb in the beginning. He's hard as fuck. He likes listening to the Beatles on vinyl, just like me, because it sounds better.
Get a CD, man.
For $13, man. Oh yeah, the guy in that scene, the guy that was his pal. He called back about
Sean Connery,
and the guy was looking him up and he couldn't find him, and he was the other guy in the hazmat tank with him. That guy was so impressed with Nicolas Cage's like knowledge of vinyl and just like his whole like thing. After this movie was over, he moved to Chicago and started working at a record store with John Cusack and Jack Black.
Sure.
And he was in High Fidelity.
Okay.
I fucking love High Fidelity. I don't care how melodramatic it is. Like, it's
super melodramatic.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's got some good parts.
Yeah, it does.
I've
And
heard
it's before Jack Black just became unwatchable.
No, that's a movie that established him. Also, a lot of people were told me to not watch that, so I never actually saw it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's worth watching.
Worth watching.
Yeah.
For like I said, because there are good parts, but as you said, it's very melodramatic.
Oh yeah, it's very melodramatic.
It's a Gen Xer romance.
Yeah.
Yes, big time. Yeah, like it romanticizes bohemian lifestyles and just that kind of shit. It's very yeah. Now I remember the first time I watched this movie, I was very unsettled by hearing Sean Connery swear so much, because I had watched so many James Bond movies, and like he probably doesn't even say like gosh darn it in James Bond movies. Like he's always way too cool to like fire off expletives. But in this movie he was like cursing up a storm, and it's like really funny to hear Sean Connery go like, "The winner gets to go home and fuck the prom queen."
God, fucking line.
Okay, so yeah, so I was talking to Chris last night when we watched this movie. because me and Chris are bros. We watched this movie together.
Yeah.
Like, this movie, I feel like, reminds me a lot of Armageddon, which is obviously the next Michael Bay movie. That it's not a great movie, but while you're watching it, it's doing all the right things for you. Like at least for me, while I was watching The Rock, I never got that existential moment where, like, why am I watching The Rock? Why is this what I'm doing with my life right now? Why? Watching The Rock is same thing as Armageddon. It's like, while you're doing it, it feels great. Like, after you've done it, it's like, well, maybe that wasn't the greatest idea, but while you're doing it, it was amazing. And that's ultimately, like, the full Michael Bay experience, is that while you're doing it.
So what you're saying is great. Michael Bay films are like the drunken one night stand?
What I'm saying is watching Michael Bay movies are like going to Vegas and doing coke while you're banging hookers. Like it's not a good idea. It's not something you should do, but while you're doing it,
it's the best thing you can do.
Like watching a Michael Bay movie is like pissing on an electric fence, but in a good way. Like, watching Michael Bay movies are like drinking a bunch of NyQuil and insisting to people that you're the Dalai Lama. It's not a good idea, but while you're doing it, it's fucking amazing. No, man, like, watching Michael Bay movies are like setting fire to a homeless person, but only because they asked you to do it.
The sad part is they're still cold.
No, man, like, watching a Michael Bay movie is like getting stoned to death by Pop Rocks. No, man, I'm telling you. Watching a Michael Bay movie is like if you could get drunk off of drinking hydrochloric acid. Like, it's not a good idea, but it feels great when you're doing it. No, man, I'm telling you.
No.
I'm telling you. Watching a Michael Bay movie is like playing in Led Zeppelin, as in, like, shredding guitar while you're crashing in the Hindenburg. Like, it's not a great idea, but it feels awesome while you're doing it. Okay, last one. Watching a Michael Bay movie is like, and I feel like this almost every day since fucking Donald Trump won the election, is like being Slim Pickens and riding the nuke down and just going, woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's how I'm looking at the whole world right now. Like, this isn't good.
No.
It's like we're just like, I'm just riding the nuke down.
Yeah.
And here we go. Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, watching Michael Bay movies, like, while you're doing it, you know, whatever. You're having a good time. You don't have any existential crises because there's no ego or superego. It is all id, and that's how it is. Now, one of my favorite lines in this movie, my favorite line in this movie was when Nicolas Cage was like, "Let's talk music. Are you familiar with the Elton John song Rocket Man?"
Yeah.
And the army guy goes, "I don't listen to soft ass shit." Now, that really made me kind of upset because I love Elton John. I love that song. Like, I get it that maybe to some people it's soft ass shit, but you got to think, like, back in the early 70s, that song came out in 1972. Like, we weren't really doing hard stuff. Like, we were kind of a little mellow. Like, Loggins was still with Messina. Like, things were still cool.
Yeah.
Like, things were still pretty smooth back then.
That's right.
Like, so I had to look up some other songs that came out.
Jesus Christ, what is the research budget for your review?
It's my will to make jokes.
It's not enough. I'll tell you that.
So like, I went back and I looked at all, like, a bunch of other songs that came out in 1972. And so like, Nicolas Cage could have been like, let's talk music. Do you listen to Lou Reed?
Yeah.
Do you listen? Have you heard that Lou Reed song, "Take a Walk on the Wild Side"?
Yeah.
I don't listen to soft ass shit. That's funny because you're about to take a ride on the rocket side. He could have been like, shut up.
No, this is great. Let's go. Yeah, I'm on board.
He could have been like, hey, let's talk music. Are you? Have you ever heard that Elvis Presley song "Burnin' Love"? I don't listen to soft ass shit. Well, that's funny because about to be fucking burning love. I don't know.
About to be on the opposite end of a burning rocket.
Right. Let's talk music. Have you ever listened to that David Bowie song, Suffragette City? Oh, there's the soft ass shit. Well, you're wrong. That song's not soft ass shit. But it's funny you say that because you're about to take a one-way ride on a rocket to Suffragette City.
Oh, wait.
How about Suffering City?
There we go.
Yeah, fill in the jokes. I don't care.
You're gonna.
Well, if you're only
going
going
to
to half construct them.
You're gonna be on a suffering rocket city.
Let's talk music. Have you ever heard that fucking Edgar Winter Group song Frankenstein? I don't listen to soft ass shit. Well, that's funny because you're about to be undead. All right, last one.
Oh my god! I can't wait to see the game because obviously it's going to blow these away.
Let's talk music. Do you you ever heard that John Denver song Rocky Mountain High? I don't listen to soft ass shit. That's funny because you're about to get Rocky Mountain blown up by a fucking rocket. All right, that wasn't good, but I don't give 10 flying fucks.
About to get blasted high off the rock.
Oh, there we
Rocket
go.
Mountain High?
Yeah, you're about to get Rocket Mountain High.
Excellent.
All right, so that's my review. Doing what?
That's awesome.
Watching Michael Bay movies is like banging hookers and doing blow while you're in Vegas. Like it's not a good idea, but it's gonna feel good while you do it.
Yep.
So there we go. That's all I have to say.
Except the Transformers movies.
Well, yeah, no, those are insufferable.
Those are movies.
I'm
the
talking
last one, not the one that's out like now, but like was it the first Marky Mark one? I only made it through that movie because it turned into like a game of chicken between me and my roommate. who would walk away first? And neither of us did. We just slack-jawed like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay, so yeah, I'm not talking about.
You're talking about 90s Bay.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about like Pearl Harbor or any of the Transformers movies or The Island or The Beach or whatever you fucking did.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Armageddon and The Rock. Like those movies.
Bad Boys.
And Bad
Bad
Boys
Boys.
1 and 2.
Sure.
What, Bad Boys.
Yeah. Me and Chris were on his IMDb last night, and Bad Boys 3 isn't even in production yet, but they already have a release date scheduled for Bad Boys 4.
2019.
Oh my god.
Bad Boys 4. Martin Lawrence needs a fucking check.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, there we go.
Well, upon further research, though, did find out some more things that Bad Boys 3 is being made, released 2018.
Okay.
And it's Bad Boys 3, Bad for Life, which is really the title they should have used for Bad Boys 4.
Bad for life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they pissed away the perfect opportunity there.
That's okay.
So thank you, Michael Bay.
Yeah. You didn't even call the fourth Transformers movie Transformers.
Yeah. Jeez. What's he doing? He needs that Fast and Furious title crew on his team.
He
Terrible.
needs a pun expert on his
Yes,
staff.
he does. All right, who's next?
I think I'll go because I just got done watching it. Yay! And it's all fresh in my mind.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
you
all
can
about
actually
to go.
talk about what actually happened in the movie.
Yeah.
I would like to
Dishes!
throw something before I get into this, just so I don't forget to say it. When I got here to record, like the first thing Eric said is, like, I don't really have much to say.
To be fair, he didn't say much in the movie. No, that was great. That was the best review ever.
I
Very
didn't have much
solid.
to say about the movie. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. So yeah, this movie, like I said, so this movie came out in 1996, so it's 20 years ago.
Yep.
Now I know a lot of people around here make fun of me for being the stupid one on the podcast, but you know,
Yep.
I must have been smart when I was a kid because I was in high school and I was only 6 years old.
What?
James,
That's an age
James,
joke.
you're fucking 34.
Shut up. It's not true. All right, so yeah, this movie is like peak Michael Bay, and honestly, like I said, like everybody gives him a lot of shit because of Transformers movies, and that's really not the movies you should judge Michael Bay on, because you can tell, like Hollywood was like, oh, this is a kid's property. It's all about robots who fight. An explosion, so let's give it to Michael Bay because he knows fighting and explosions and he likes robots in action.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Transformers. You can tell. If you watch those movies, you know he does not like Transformers.
So,
I like Transformers.
I bet they would have been better if he got to do an R-rated one.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered because the truth is that...
Robot sex? Robot nudity?
You don't have to
robot
do
F-bombs,
nudity. It's
robot
just more
swearing.
violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what... Okay, I'm not going to try to make this a review about Transformers, but I'll just say this, that Transformers can completely carry itself with all the characters, main characters, being Transformers.
Sure.
Yes.
He hates Transformers. None of the Transformers have any identity.
Right. So he made it about human characters.
Yeah, and it all sucks.
Well,
So,
it's because people identify with humans, not robots.
yeah, that's...
Well,
Well,
most
speak
of
for
us.
yourself.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Yeah, have you
But-
seen Westworld?
Yeah.
I identify with Legos.
All I
Yeah.
can say is it's the same problem with the damn Godzilla movie. That Godzilla was in it for like 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
You might as well called it stupid movie about some jack off, running around the country and not about a fucking giant lizard.
Yeah, and that
Called it
Jackoff
Kick-Ass
wasn't
got
even
buff.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Right?
Kick-Ass got buff and we fooled you with Bryan Cranston. That's what they should have called it.
There you go. Oh, also, there might be a lizard.
I love that movie. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care what anybody
Godzilla?
says. I
Nah,
love it.
I was so angry.
Yeah, so even now, I mean, this movie, honestly, watching it again, it really kind of brings to mind how far we've gone, as a society when it comes to, social issues. Because Michael Bay is still behind the times on this shit. And he was behind the times in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
There wasn't a black man who didn't have an attitude that was like, motherfucker!
I know every black character in this movie was sassy.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
come on.
God damn it, I brought a gun. If I knew this shit would have happened, I would have had my gun.
I know.
Yeah.
He made every black character super sassy. Like, it was ridiculous.
Gay hairdresser. Wow.
Oh, I know.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he wasn't just a little gay.
I just want to know how you feel about
your
stare.
haircut.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That was bad.
There's no problem with a man taking pride in his work.
The
Was
gay
Con-
guy.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I Con Air was not Michael Bay, was it?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think that might have just been like Jerry Bruckheimer or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, I
Right,
think
okay,
it-
the
yeah.
other one.
Yeah.
The other fucktard.
But nonetheless, I mean, Con Air is fun as a comedy.
Yeah.
Like, as a comedy, not so much as an action movie. This movie is fun as an action movie. But like I said, I mean, like Eric already pretty much covered it. It's not a great movie, but it is fun and decent to watch for the most part. I did not remember this movie being so long, because that's the other problem that Michael Bay has. His movies are fucking overly long.
Yes.
He needs somebody else in there to kind of cut a lot of his shit out, because there's no reason this simple story needs to be 2.5 hours.
Oh no, you can trim an easy 30 minutes off this movie. No problem.
Easy.
Like easy.
And that would have been the perfect length.
yeah.
But when I first saw this movie, I didn't see the whole intro with the Marine guy going bonkers and the shooting and them stealing the weapon. You don't need any of that.
You're right.
You can start it because when I started watching it, I remember it starting at Nick Cage and the dude with the doll in the cage and all that shit.
Uh-huh.
You just start it right there.
Mm-hmm.
You would lose nothing because as soon as
You could start at
they-
the car chase.
yeah, that's a little far. But yeah, so you didn't need that whole.
Started
exchange
at the one
sequence, but
dude beating the
nonetheless.
shit out of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I'd watch that for 2 hours.
So I'll say this: the only real thing I have to say about this movie is that Nick Cage is needless. He's a needless asshole. Like, he's needlessly an asshole in this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm not sure if it was like him or the direction or something, but like, you're right. He was considered, up till this point, he was considered a solid, decent actor, like an Academy Award winning actor.
Yeah.
But his like over the top shit that he did every now and then, like he started to become known for that right around this time.
Yep.
And I felt like he was asked to play it up in this. But like as a result, you know, like that line, you know, where he's like, thanks for doing that. You didn't have to come in that way. He could have been a little human and be like, well, yeah, you know, the city really needs you right now. She needs you right now. So, blah, 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 blah. You know, instead he just immediately comes. There is no time where Nick Cage does not give Sean Connery shit.
Right.
For almost no reason.
Right.
Well, he did punch him in the face and then cause a huge thing.
But then
You
later
have to
on, when they're
realize
in the
that
cell,
was literally 12 hours prior. And it's also pretty clear that the character, or maybe Cage, just thinks about himself. I mean, that's pretty clear from like before when he does his diatribe to his girlfriend. And then she's like, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh.
Well, I just have to say that's the most relatable I found him.
A lot happened since then.
But no, I mean, like, he needs to be the softer side of this movie. Honestly, the first time I watched it, that's what I got, and that's what I was expecting on rewatching. And no, it wasn't that.
He was a total dickhead.
He was a total dickhead.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like, what? How in the name of Zeus's butthole? I was like, just ask him how he opened up the cage. Seriously, I don't need to be a dick. Or he's like, he's like taking the rockets apart, and he's like, "Oh, is that hard?" And he's like, "Can you lay off my dick for 5 seconds?"
Yeah, he's jumping down his throat like, "Don't touch that."
He was stressed,
No,
and when he's stressed, he lashes out. I know people
that's what
like
dickheads
that.
do, and he doesn't need to be a dickhead.
What dickheads do.
Yep.
I know people like that.
Yep.
I won't name them.
All right, so I will.
Neither
say,
of you guys.
Okay, thanks.
Or Johnny.
I thought you were going to be like Eric.
No.
It was
no,
me.
No.
What are you saying, Chris? Come on!
I'm not saying that.
The whole premise of this movie of like the reason why whatever
Ed Harris.
why he wants to go on America's government is bullshit. Listening to like the second season of Serial and Bradley Manning and all that shit, it's like how they will like honor black ops people without giving away classified information, just all that shit.
Yeah, it's just a made up premise.
Yeah, it's completely made up. There was a lot about this shit in this movie that made me think that they knew nothing about like military shit in general. Like, they just kind of flew from the seat of their pants with the whole military shit. Like, the fucking Marines saying, come on, let's be the best that we can be. No, you're a fucking Marine, buddy!
Yeah.
You don't fucking say that.
That's the Army, right?
Yeah. No, they make fun of the Army. They don't... Yeah, no.
Let's be all we can be, boys.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right.
Hey, come on, Captain. Let's aim high. Yeah, aim high so you don't pee on your shoes. That's what the Marines say about the Air Force. I guess the rest of the things I have to say are just little bits. I liked how they name-checked Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Uh-huh.
Now, Eric, you're a sports playing man, so he did play for the Red Wings, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was a left wing.
Very left wing. No, Alexander Solzhenitsyn this is a Russian author. Yay! Yeah. And it brings to mind one of my favorite lines of in a song. One of my favorite verses, just Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote the Russian novel called "A Day in the Life of Ivan Yasanovich." Ivan was eating some soup when he scooped an eyeball onto the spoon and couldn't remember reading it on the ingredients on the can. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, so apart from that, like the ridiculous, getting all the Army shit wrong, Nick Cage being a dick, the extreme stereotypes in everybody that comes along, the movie being way too long. When we were watching that thing, speaking of Russians, we were watching Chuck Norris versus Communism. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how, like, when they'd go through, like, the movies and they'd see, like, all the food everywhere and stuff like that, they'd be like, oh my god, what the fuck? I was thinking the same thing when, like, Sean Connery's driving through those bottles of water, and I'm like, oh man, you imagine somebody from Flint watching this right now?
Yeah.
Terrible.
It must be, like, brutal for them. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was California, so I mean, they needed that water anyway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
for
not
the
like they have a
crops.
water crisis.
You know what they say? Go to California, bring a bottle of water.
Is that what they say?
Yes, that's what they say.
Okay.
Eat almonds every day. They're good for you.
They don't require any water to produce whatsoever.
Nope. Almonds. Yep.
Yeah.
The waterless
almonds.
fruit. That's what they're called.
Yep.
Love it.
I think our agriculture jokes are going over the best.
Social commentary, that's what you expect from my review.
I miss the days of poop and fart.
Yeah, me too. It was nice when the world was kind of somewhat put together. we can feel good enough to make poop and fart jokes. Yep. Yeah.
Well, now we live in a world where, like, it seems like exactly Die Hard with a Vengeance. Everyone's distracted. We should rob the mint.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah, the
God.
one movie that doesn't end with "Let It Snow." Fuck that. I know. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so in summation, the ending of that movie pissed me off. The ending of The Rock really didn't.
Yes, vaporized.
So that's about it.
All right.
Vaporized? He was vaporized? Yeah, vaporized, yeah.
That can happen?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did not watch the last 10 minutes of this movie because it was done. Fuck
It's
it.
true.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. So, Chris, what have you got for us?
Okay. The Rock was a professional wrestler who was active between 1996 to 04 and then again between 2011 and 2016. He was also known for his acting since 1999, still current. He is 6'5" and a reported 260 pounds. But have you seen that motherfucker? There's no way he's only 260 pounds. That motherfucker eats like a table's worth of pancakes before he works out. And he has 17 championship reigns.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a good book report, yo.
God damn.
17 rings, did you say,
My
Chris?
God.
Championship reigns.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
I know.
That makes a little bit more sense.
I know we say when a movie's good, there's like nothing to say about it, but when a movie says nothing, I think the same is also true.
Yeah.
The key to this movie is exactly what Eric has already hit on. It's not a fantastic movie, but while you watch it, you do enjoy it. It's fairly well paced action movie. And I say that like James says it's too long, and it could definitely the end. You're right. The last 10 minutes could be right off.
Right.
No worries. It could have been shorted
How
up.
about the mine shaft escape scene?
Yeah.
That's just like gone.
Well, I just felt like I was playing Donkey Kong. Like they better jump. You know?
Actually, that's the last thing I was going to say about this. It amazes me that we still cannot make a good video game movie because this movie is effectively a mission from Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This would be a perfect movie to make into a video game.
Yep.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Just throw it in Grand Theft Auto. Have it be one of the missions. You have to disarm 7 rockets.
It's the Rock DLC, and it like takes you through doing the Rock.
That'd be perfect. I wouldn't do it, but I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it when I first saw it. I'd seen it several times since. I watched it the other day with Eric, and I even told him I was kind of like holding off watching it just because like I didn't really feel like getting into it because it's one of and it's not even one of those I wasn't sure it was going to hold up. It was more on the level of I've seen it. I don't feel like I need to rewatch it to know what it is. It's like an enjoyable movie, whatever. One thing that stood out, like hands down, Connery like rolls under the cistern to get into the
Yep.
all right, get into the facility and then opens the door for them.
Like when he rolls through the blast furnace thing.
Right?
Mhm.
Now, maybe back in the day they locked that door from that side. Because think about that. Unless it was locked from the side he literally just haphazardly opened it from, he wouldn't have had to go under the cistern.
Like when he was
Doesn't that
breaking
flag?
back in, he rolled under that stuff to unlock the door from that side. But when he's breaking out,
He could have just went through the door.
yes.
effectively making one of the coolest parts totally non-existent.
Right.
Whatever. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, as casual racism,
Yep.
it was the 90s. I love Bad Boys. The Rock was enjoyable.
I like Bad Boys too.
Armageddon was... One thing, the score was really good.
Yes.
It gets you like fucking geared up.
So we were
like
looking
that
it
super
up.
intense, and
This
yeah,
was one of Hans Zimmer's
Yep.
first ever scores for a movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
it was definitely like every time I hear this music too, like I get like fucking geared up. Like it makes you feel like you're gonna play Metal Gear Solid, like sneak through shit,
It makes it feel like you're about to sit down for 5 hours.
right? Yeah. I mean,
no, like listening to the music in this movie makes you feel like you're about to go watch Professor Cat Magnabus's Whamtastic Rumble Pump.
Yes, it does.
because the music from that
Non-stop
movie was also
action.
a Hans Zimmer
Yep.
score.
A race against time for time
Yeah,
A
itself.
race against
Yeah.
the clock for time,
Time
itself.
Yep.
Bwah.
that said, you know his Michael Bay's '90s movies were watchable. Everything else isn't, and as such, I wouldn't blame it on the projects he's been put on so much as him. I think he sucks. And he can, and you know, because let's face it, you can make a bad movie, but if you can perpetually make shitty films, you ought to like step back and say, maybe I shouldn't be making not films in general, but maybe these films. But honestly, he should step back and say, I shouldn't make films in general.
Right.
Like, okay, so Kung Fury isn't a well done movie. But
No.
but The Rock is like the people who made Kung Fury getting 2.5 hours to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just absurd shit, craziness, and like bullshit, and it lasts for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, that was the other thing we were discussing. Yeah, it might not have anything that is truly unique to it, but the dialogue is super on point.
It is.
Even as bizarre as some of the, especially the Nick Cage dialogue, but it's like great. Like the speeches like that are given. Okay, first off, you guys both are.
I'm not telling you
giggling
again,
because-
soldiers. Sidearm that weapon.
I cannot give that order.
You do not want to give.
I cannot give that order. Okay,
I will not give that order.
that becomes
What
ridiculous
are you
when you
thinking,
repeat
man?
it
Drop
over
the
and
weapon.
over and over again. Yes, but the dialogue itself in the movie isn't filled with cheese, and it could so easily have gone that way because let's face it, so many movies do.
Yeah.
Especially like when he's like doing his little monologue of his self justification of why he's doing this to himself, to his the memory of his wife, to the people in Washington even or whatever, and he does all these justifications and these monologues, and it's like, okay, yeah, like I get you, I feel you.
Even though it's kind of bullshit. Like,
No, yeah, totally, but-
you're just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, you don't like you can actually kind of like he's the bad guy
Even-
situationally, but he's not a bad guy.
That's because by the time those speeches happen, Michael Bay has effectively shut down your brain so that you can't
it's like
recognize.
the opening of the film.
Uh-oh, we just exposed a hole in John's critique.
No, it's. I insist. What I said is still accurate.
Michael Bay, the master of shutting down brains.
The
Michael-
moment you sit down and you hit play on that Netflix, you're done.
Yeah, you know that scene where Nick Cage is disarming the bomb and the baby doll, and it's like counting down from like 20 seconds? That's a real life scene of Michael Bay shutting down the audience's brain.
No,
Although
what
that
Chris was
said,
saying-
the other great point in this is that normal? The is that normal? And the arm kind of lunge point at the feet thing. Yeah, the feet thing. It happens. That's my favorite part of that movie.
No, but
honestly.
what Chris was saying about Ed Harris, he's like you don't.
He's a good bad guy.
right. You don't like.
he's also just a really good actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Ed Harris
you're-
is always a good bad guy, though.
They make his like cause seem just. Like
Yeah.
it is kind of just when you get down to like what he actually wants to do, because he doesn't actually want to
Right.
kill anybody.
Right.
He was just like bluffing. He was just bluffing, and he wanted the military, or he wanted the government to not call his bluff. and then get some money for, military families. Okay, that's not that bad of a bad guy. Now, once everything went pear-shaped, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, bad guys.
Yeah. Ed Harris plays a good, relatable bad guy in this movie.
I guess that's it.
Okay.
Now, John, when did you watch this movie?
I watched it a while ago. I watched it a while
The year
ago.
was.
I have to second Chris's motion there. It's like the dialogue isn't amazing, but it's like a well-cooked steak or like something. Like it's like really well-cooked pasta. It's simple,
like the cocaine in
but
the cocaine hooker
perfect.
combo.
Yeah.
incredibly simple but perfect.
There you go.
Yep.
Go ahead, John. Tell us how you remember the movie
Well,
succinctly.
you stole my joke for starters.
Oh,
I was
no.
going to read the Wikipedia page of The Rock as well. So
My joke.
unfortunately,
That's doing that shit long before you.
Well, to be fair, I was hoping you'd go before me because I was waiting. I was expecting you to do it, and then I wasn't going to do it. So when you did, I'm like, hands off.
I don't
yep.
know what any of you guys are talking
Talking
about. You
about-
didn't
I
mention
could've done-
Sylvester Stallone or boxing or anything.
I could have done the Rockford Files too. That would have been something else I
There
could
you
have done.
go.
Yeah. All right, but this is what I have to say about The Rock. I don't have.
Romancing the Stone.
Where was Danny DeVito in all this? I don't have a lot to say that isn't already covered in great detail.
Yeah, what
by-
else is there to say about this movie that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? It's all bombed out and depleted.
I do have this to say about it, though. First off, there is one thing about this movie that is actually kind of... I wouldn't say that this movie's worth a watch. I personally put it on the meh scale. Like,
John, you don't want to go to Vegas and bang hookers and do blow?
I never get that feeling from these from early day. I never get that hooker and blow feeling. I get more like farting in a hot tub.
I never get the hooker and blow feeling.
I get a farting in a hot tub. It feels good, and it's great if you don't get caught doing it. But it's not super spectacular.
Well, you
and
gotta have the
risk
jets on. If there aren't any other bubbles in the hot tub,
Exactly.
everybody's gonna know what's up.
Exactly, and you also risk shitting yourself.
Oh,
So,
do not shit in the hot tub.
Yeah. Anyway, but so I put this on the meh scale. But there's definitely something that I do want to point out about this movie that I think is actually kind of important. This movie does actually kind of exist, and I don't know if this is a thing that Michael Bay did or if they were just starting to do this, but it exists in that weird magic middle spot where action is not like you're watching people fight in molasses, and yet the action is still not like it is today, where it's almost impossible to track your
God,
eyes.
it's so annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, there's this weird magic middle period.
Movies like Captain America: Civil War, where the action is completely impossible to track.
Exactly. So there's this weird little point in history, and I don't know if it was Michael Bay who found that magic middle or whether or not it was starting to just be sort of a zeitgeist. It's kind of hard to tell because this also happened during a desert period when there just wasn't a lot of rememberable action movies,
Yep.
not like there was during the 80s as well.
Yep.
So, say what you will. If you're looking for an action movie to watch, and you have exhausted all of the really good 1980s action films, and you can't stand the busyness of action films today.
If you don't care about superheroes,
If you don't care
That's
about
true, too.
superheroes, this is not a terrible watch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a great watch, and don't expect a lot from it.
yeah.
And that's basically my review.
Yeah.
Oh, except Tony Todd is always awesome. Even though he was sassy in this, he still has an amazing voice.
Oh yeah, John, did you notice one of the Marines was the guy from Fargo season 2? Season 2
No,
of
I
Fargo.
did not.
It was one of the Black Marines, and he played Mike Milligan, but he was way more beefed up in this movie. But do you remember Mike Milligan from season 2 of Fargo? It was he was like the black guy who worked for the mob who went around and killed everybody. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
He was one of the Marines. It was awesome.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. He couldn't even recognize him.
Wow.
John didn't watch this movie.
There it is. I watched it, and I got up at 3 p.m.
So it wasn't really him.
No, it was. It was.
I don't listen to soft shit. I only steal the souls of the deserving. Candyman. No, I was thinking the same thing, man. It's like, that's motherfucking Candyman.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for The Rock, the movie, not the Samoan actor, wrestler.
Yeah, he's still going strong.
Yeah, he is. And he's actually pretty fucking awesome. So, with that being said, I think it's gonna be time for a short commercial break. And when we return, we will be back with the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Needle Dick.
Hey, Needle Dick.
Why is everyone calling each other Needle Dick?
Hi, I'm Tony Hamlish.
And I'm Bill Hamlish.
No relation. Do you ever feel sluggish and tired?
Then stick a needle in your dick.
That's right. We believe that SEGSAG stands for energy.
So we're happy to introduce to you the Rediculator.
A cocktail of energizing drugs and supplements designed to be injected directly into your dick.
Man, I'm so tired. I can't seem to get anything done.
Then I'll Rediculator. Yeah!
Asshole, you just stabbed my dick. Oh, that's the good stuff. Oh.
That made me really uncomfortable.
The Rediculator is a cocktail that'll make sure you are corked, locked, and ready to rock.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. I made my dick look like Mia Wallace in Pulp Fiction.
And I made mine look like Nick Cage and The Rock.
Ready?
Yeah! That's the good stuff!
Yeah.
But wait, what if you're a woman?
Well, shit.
Sex egg.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now time for your favorite part and mine. It is time for the game.
Yeah!
Hey. There we go.
Fucking Slim Pickens. It's like a jar. When you're watching that movie, it's like a jarring sound because there's no like score behind it or anything like that. He's
and
just
it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Ugh.
As is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie gets to run the game. That means Eric.
Yes.
You are running the game.
All right. Okay, so I have an old staple of John Hates Movies games. You know, basic trivia game about this movie. So, John, I have a feeling you're going to do great.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to. Okay, James, pick a
multiple choice.
Yeah, James, pick a number between 1 and 10.
5.
Okay, John.
2.
And Chris.
11.
Okay. That means James gets to go first.
Yeah.
Chris is going second. John's going third. Because the number was 7, which means James, you get the first of our questions based on The Rock.
Yes.
All right. So it starts out with a really easy one. So you should be able to get this. James, The Rock is better known as what?
Alcatraz.
I'm sorry, we were looking for Dwayne Johnson. I'm sorry, we were looking for Dwayne Johnson.
Excellent.
Okay, so I didn't want to reveal the sandbag, but this game isn't about the movie The Rock.
Oh no!
It's about The Rock in general, not necessarily the actor, but just anything that's known as The Rock. Chris, this building in New York City is home to Saturday Night Live, was home to Conan O'Brien, and is still home to the NBC Nightly News. It is known as The Rock. What is it called?
The Rockefeller Building.
We'll give it to you. It's the Rockefeller.
The Rockefeller Plaza.
Yeah, Rockefeller Plaza. Yeah.
Suck my dick. I knew Rockefeller.
30 Rockefellers Plaza.
Yeah.
That's right. 30 Rock.
Yep. Okay, Johnny. James just got like docked a point right off the beginning for going first, but I don't care. All right, Johnny. This former bass player for The Who released an album named The Rock in 1996. Do you know who played bass for The Who?
I should,
I do.
but I don't.
God damn it.
John Bonham.
Ooh, you were very close.
Ooh.
John Entwistle.
Ah!
John Entwistle. Okay.
John Bonham was like the
drummer for
from
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Okay, James, we're back around to you. James, this easternmost Canadian province is sometimes referred to as the Rock.
Ontario?
Easternmost
I
Canadian
have no
province.
idea how the Canada is constructed.
It's an island out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, come on! Island's in the damn name!
Kind of.
Uh,
They have, I think there's a dog named after this province.
Christmas Island.
Newfoundland. Newfoundland. All right, Chris. This Atlantic island, also known as the Rock, inspired Shakespeare's The Tempest.
I don't know.
Bermuda.
Ah.
Bermuda.
Yep. Yeah, people traveling across the Atlantic and crashing on island Bermuda. All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny, this rock forms the westernmost border of the Mediterranean Sea.
The Rock of Gibraltar.
Yes.
Damn it.
Johnny on the board.
Woo!
All right. James, this is going to be a short game. This game's going to take like 5 minutes because there's only so much I can write in one day. James, if you were playing sports ball and you asked a teammate to pass you the rock, what sport would you be playing?
Baseball?
Oh, pass me the rock. It's basketball.
Damn it. None of those are particularly rock-like.
Sports ball question.
Yeah.
Oh, who's next? Chris, this is a lovely question. Slippery Rock University of Pennsylvania. Their athletic teams have this nickname.
Slippery Rock, huh?
Slippery Rock. Slippy Rock.
Slime?
I'm sorry, the answer we were looking for is The Rock. The Slippery Rock football team is literally The Rock. That's
Awesome.
that's their nickname.
Not the Otters or the
I was going to guess the Whetstones.
Slippy Rock. Okay, Johnny. This Russian composer, and it's fitting that James talked about Russian composer in our review. This Russian composer wrote a symphony called The Rock in 1893.
I hope to God it's Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, it is. Rachmaninoff. Nice. That's a good pull.
So ridiculous. I heard he rocks. Jesus.
Okay, James.
Yeah.
How many years was Al Capone imprisoned at Alcatraz?
God damn it!
If you're within one, you've got it.
Was it 5?
It was 6, but you got it.
Yay!
Pretty good. Actually, so yeah, it was like 5 years and 10 months or something.
Sweet.
Yes. Good answer. Good answer.
1 but no.
Okay. And we are with Chris. And this question should have gone to John, but whatever. Chris, what is Rocky Balboa's given first name?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm not sure is not the right answer. His real given first name is Robert. Robert Rocky Balboa.
Well, I'll be damned.
And he's known as Robert Rocky Balboa Sr. because his son in movie number 5, obviously the greatest Rocky movie of all time, is Bobby Jr.
That would explain why I had no idea about that little bit of information, because there was no 5th Rocky movie.
Now, James, I'm sorry. Now,
Sense
John.
of the movie where they turned him into a robot cop and they called him Robert Cop.
Jesus.
Okay, John. This question should have gone to James, but it's going to you. Which of Jesus' disciples did he nickname the Rock? Paul was not a disciple of Jesus.
Peter.
Oh, should we get?
Come on, Peter.
No.
Come on,
Mary. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Puff the Magic Dragon!
Oh, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. Oh, all right.
I meant Peter.
Okay, now we have a couple of 2-pointer questions here at the end, so everybody could still be in it. And this is just a question to everybody. So your name is your buzzer. So
right.
Buzz in when you have an answer.
Sure.
Name one of The Rock's finishing moves.
Chris. People's elbow.
That is correct.
Damn.
All right, so Chris has 3. If James can name the other Rock finishing move, he could get 3, and we could come down to a final Jeopardy here.
The Rock Crusher?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're looking for the Rock Bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so Chris and John, you are in the running for the last question here. And it's a real puzzler.
Stone Cold Stunner.
Stone Cold Stunner might have gotten you like a half point for like a good answer. Actually, okay, so James, you're back in. James, if you can get one of these last ones correct, then you're still in.
Okay.
All right. Now, in geology, it is known that there are 3 different types of rock.
Oh, fuck.
Name one of them.
Chris. Igneous.
Damn it! God damn it, that's the only one I know!
That's correct. That is correct. Chris won. Chris won fair and square.
Damn.
Oh, come
The other 2 types of
on!
rock are sedimentary and metamorphic.
I probably could have gotten sedimentary, but I would not have remembered metamorphic.
Yeah.
I would have guessed volcanic and got
Well,
I
wrong.
was so
Igneous.
close to having a win!
So very close.
What are we watching?
All right, we're watching Spectral then.
The Netflix
Okay.
original.
Yes.
Spectral.
Yep.
Is it
Wow,
spooky?
okay. It's about ghosts, right? Ghosts, like Marines who shoot ghosts with guns?
Not exactly, but sure.
Okay.
Have you seen it? Okay.
No, I haven't. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. We're actually watching a Netflix original, Spectral.
Beasts of No Spectral Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Yeah. Spectral.
You'd think Netflix should like pay us for doing this podcast, right? Because
Right.
like we're giving them so much like good content.
We gotta be, like, popular first.
Good night, everybody. A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every 3rd episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say,
I don't know about you, but I am proper hench.